Today, we're back on Bad Company 2. I thought we'd start with Bad Company 2 today because we're going to be looking at 3 Battlefield games in particular because they all have relevance to the title of this video, and that's the veteran weapons that have been included in the last 3 Battlefield games. So, as I said, let's start with Bad Company 2. Now, with this game, you get access to essentially 3 different veteran weapons. To start with, if you're actually a Battlefield veteran and that required you to have played at least one previous Battlefield title, then you got access to the M1 Garand, and you could download that, and essentially it's a semi-auto rifle that you could use with any class that you wanted to, but you couldn't have any attachments on it, so you just basically had to use the thing naked. Now, I'm using it in the gameplay behind, and it absolutely rocks. If you get 2 shots to the chest at sort of medium range, you're looking at probably killing the player, and then at long range you're starting to look at 3 and 4 shots, but ultimately it was really cool to play with this weapon and you actually felt like a veteran. It's something that other people didn't have. Also with Bad Company 2, you had the option to gain access to the M1A1 Thompson and the 1911 pistol, which is sort of commonplace within the Battlefield series. Now, I really liked the Thompson Machine Gun. When I was playing this game on my PS3, I think I spent roughly 100 hours with this weapon, and considering I played 1200 hours in total, that's an extreme amount of time to dedicate yourself to just one weapon. I really enjoyed using it. It was really good at close range and it had really good hipfire accuracy. And the 1911 you can actually acquire in-game if you wanted to. I think you had to be promoted to like level 3. But both of these weapons could be accessed early if you got the limited edition version of the game and you were a VIP player, which is essentially what Premium was when it didn't cost £40 more on top of the price of the base game. Now, all of these 3 weapons combined, you could only use the Thompson or the M1 Garand, but you could pair either of those with the M1911, and you felt like you were running around with a World War loadout. It was a really cool experience in Bad Company, and as I said, having the M1 Garand was a big statement. You're a Battlefield veteran, and therefore you deserve a weapon for playing the previous titles and stand out from the crowd a little bit. Now, moving forward to Battlefield 3, we didn't get quite such good treatment. We did still get a weapon, which was really good. We got access to the 1911 pistol. Although, in Battlefield 3, I feel at least, the thing took a massive downgrade in terms of status. In Bad Company 2, I'll flash up a shot right now, the 1911 looks absolutely badass, and that's because it literally is a replica of the 1911 when it first went into production. The 1911 that's included in Battlefield 3 is a modernised version, and it doesn't have the wooden sort of handle on the side. You have to forgive me, I'm really not good with what the names of things on weapons are, but the 1911 in Bad Company 2 was far better than the 1911 in Battlefield 3 in terms of status. Essentially, they were exactly the same weapon because they did the same damage and ultimately performed exactly the same, but for me, in Bad Company 2 that weapon was so much better than it was in Battlefield 3. And as I said, in terms of status, I didn't really feel all that proud to be a veteran player when the weapon could have just been any other handgun in Battlefield 3. I mean, really, it doesn't look all that different to an M9 pistol, an MP443, and ultimately I didn't think that I really stood out from the crowd with this weapon. It was just like any other weapon, and I had the option to choose it if I wanted to play with it. And if you thought Battlefield 3 was a letdown, like I did, then Battlefield 4 is pretty much rock bottom. The Battlefield 4 veteran system is a battle pack, which is sort of like the appreciation system that the developers thought was a good idea for Battlefield 4. In all lessons, it wasn't that amazing, but it was still quite good. It was something a little bit different than the previous 2 games, but in this veteran battle pack, you got a Splinter Soldier camouflage. Now, if you've had many of the camouflages in Battlefield 4, you'll know that most of them don't actually look that different from each other, so it was very difficult to tell who would be a veteran or not because all of the camos sort of look the same. You got access to a veteran franchise dog tag, the Cb90 Knife, which I guess is quite cool, but at the same time you can actually unlock it in-game anyway, a 3x scope for the Magnum, and 100% XP boost. Now, we did get a little bit more for being a veteran, but that's a 3x scope for the M1911, but that was the developer thing, and that was given to us because the game wasn't in a very good state, and DICE thought they needed to do something in order to make us a little bit more happy. But if you're on the same sort of level as I am, I was severely disappointed in the veteran system for Battlefield 4. I mean, how can it have been only 4 years, and we had 3 weapons in Bad Company 2, yet one weapon in Battlefield 3, and then pretty much an afterthought in Battlefield 4. I don't really quite get what was going through the developers' minds when they thought, oh, we need to give something to the veterans. I know, we'll give them a scope for a pistol that anyone else can use in the game. So it's safe to say that being a veteran in the Battlefield series right now isn't really worth being. You basically get nothing in Battlefield 4 for being a veteran. As far as I'm concerned, you don't get anything that's really worth writing home about. So my point of this video is, what would you like to see as the veteran weapon in the upcoming game, Battlefield Hardline? Now obviously, it's a completely different setting, so it probably wouldn't be very relevant to give us some World War styled weapons, but do you think that being a veteran should give us access to, I don't know, maybe an exclusive weapon for each faction of the game? So maybe we could see like an exclusive police weapon and then an exclusive robber's weapon. Would that work quite well? I think that would be quite cool. Or if we were actually given a really cool camo to use, a weapon skin that was ultimately completely different to anyone else and that would actually stand out in game. Maybe access to, I don't know, paint for your grenades. You can make it look like a Pokeball or something when you throw it. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? I just think they really need to focus on something that will make sure that veterans are at least satisfied, having played previous games, that they are appreciated for playing the next Battlefield game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments today, guys. I'd really like to know what you think. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Make sure you leave a rating down below. And as I said, comments are always appreciated. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.